I always forget. I thank everybody that was in the chat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of Scrollers Chat. Joining me this evening on the panel, I got Rick Hutchinson, Katie Dotson, Jamie. Help me with the last name, Jamie.
Jamie Page.
Sorry,
Jamie, I forgot you could talk by yourself, bro.
And Mr. Charles Daring, the one and only.
me. By God, the only one.
So we're going to start with the panel. Go down and introduce yourselves. Starting with Mr. Charles Daring.
Howdy do. I am Charles Daring. I have woodenvisions.com. If you go to the link section, all my social media should be on there. But if not, on YouTube, I go by Charles Daring Scroll. But if you type in Charles Daring and see a wood grain logo of me doing this, that's me. I'm most active on Facebook. And my name on there is The Charles Daring. And I believe it's I don't know what my profile picture is. I believe it's black and white. You'll find me. It's black and white. Thank you for having me on, mister.
Thank you, Charles. All right, Jamie.
You can find me on YouTube at JP Woodwork, Twitter and Instagram at JP_Woodwork, and you can also find me on the Makers International podcast.
Thank you, Jamie. All right, Miss Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Dotson, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm there to make inappropriate comments whenever I can.
If y'all weren't able to hear that, she said she's just on Facebook. Her name is Katie Dotson, and she makes inappropriate comments when she can. Did I get that right, Katie?
Yes.
I'm only repeating what you're saying because it's gurgly, and I want to make sure people get to hear your lovely voice, or at least your words. By God.
All right. And last but not least, Mr. Rick Hutchinson.
Yeah, Rick Hutchinson, website scrollsaws.com, on Facebook and YouTube under Rick Hutchinson.
All right. Thank you, Rick. All right. So tonight our topic, or theme, if you will, is crosses. And Mr. Charles Daring is going to start us off. And we're going to go over talking about how to design them. And Charles is going to show us how he designs crosses. So without further ado, take it away, Charles.
All right, if you don't mind, I'm only saying this because you're new. If you don't mind presenting me, and we can hide the panel, and that way nothing is obstructed when I screen share. Okay, I'm hiding the panel now, but I got a screen share. Full screen, blah blah blah. Now there are various ways to that I design crosses. The only reason I have this open is to show the many crosses most people don't know that I have on my website. Quite a few. And for me, anyway, a majority of my crosses are just a certain pattern repeated. And I will show examples of that here. Now, that real quickly, I love it when people write on Facebook when I want to show you something real quick. If you don't even want to try to attempt to draw a cross without all the artsy stuff, all you got to do is type in cross silhouette. You can have different shapes to work with and play with that however you choose to. But that being said, I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, I chose some designs here that can be repeated. Some of them are tribal, which is what this style of, I guess, art you would call it. But let me move some of these out of the way. This is one I started, and you will see that there's a black line there. Shouldn't be there. That's just wonderful. Anyway, if you concentrate on the look of that, it's the exact same design as theirs, just turned around. But also looking at that same design, you will see that I inverted it, and it is aimed the opposite direction. You would do that on all four corners. I'm not done with these, obviously, but I get one side correct, and then I'll just copy and paste it to the other side so that I know it's symmetrical. But that as far as quickly putting it on a bumper sticker, so to speak, that is how I design my crosses. I usually just repeat a design, but you can get a basic design like these and put it on all four corners of the cross, however you decide to shape that cross, or you can get an artsy design like this and repeat it. But I found some other ones earlier that I thought were prettier, and that's one. I gotta minimize a whole bunch of stuff here. There we go. Now what this one is just half of that one. So that's what we're gonna make our cross out of. I gotta get an idea how big it is. I'll just make a big window to make sure. Create a new window. The program I'm using is Paint Shop Pro, but this can be done on any graphics program, I would assume. And y'all are more than welcome to interrupt me with any questions you might have besides, why am I so weird? Yeah, I might as well make the cross brown because I've already committed myself to that. Okay, so I'm going to bring that into the window. And hopefully I made the window big enough. If not, I will make a bigger window. Yeah, that should work. Okay, now I'm just going to copy that 3 more times. And on one of them, we can hit Control M, which is mirror. This one will be that upper one. And for this one, now we have all 4 corners to go around the cross. So let me get all those inside that window. And I'm intentionally going to space them out until I can slide them into place. But you'll I assume you will get the idea as I go, if not already. Edit, copy. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Keyboard shortcuts on pretty much any program is Control C and Control V. In case anybody is wondering.
Well, couldn't you have drawn those 4 right there in that one window without opening up the extra windows?
Well, I was basically copying one single design and just making them. Yeah, I mean, I could have brought them in here and then flipped them around, so to speak, but I just chose to do it this way. Because if you ask my dad, I do everything the hard way. Edit, copy. And this one won't take very long, so I can show you how to do one of the more ornate ones where it's only the designs making up the cross and not adding the designs to an existing cross. Let me just make a generic, here. And this may not be to scale or proper shape or whatever. I'm just kind of throwing it together to give you an idea. I think that looks about the same thickness. But we'll even all that out because really only one side is what matters. As long as this is a heck of a time for my eyesight to be going. Okay, I'm selecting and then I'm going to zoom in to make sure I butt it up right up against that cross. And see, I missed part of it. Dagnabbit. So we're going to try that again. My eyesight is going south, folks. Okay. I'm going to zoom in real close to make sure that those edges are touching the brown cross. That way there's no gaps. Oops, I forgot to make the other color white. So already you can get an idea of how this is going together, but I'll go ahead and finish it for the sake of finishing it. Why do we keep getting all these bloody notifications? I usually turn my ringer off, but I forgot to, but it's too late now. Okay.
So I have a question for anybody out there in the, if you guys have any questions for Charles or any of the panel members, feel free to post them up on the YouTube chat.
Absolutely. To be honest, I don't even remember how I got these particular designs that I'm working with. But as far as tribal designs, you can pretty much just do a Google image search for tribal, and you will find oodles of stuff.
Just be careful, make sure they're copyright free.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're doing if you're doing it for personal use, you know, go for it. But
actually, we'll come back to that. After Charles finishes, I'll show you guys somewhere where you guys can get copyright free images.
Would that be Pixabay?
Yes, it would be Pixabay.
Hey, I got a good memory. What I'm going to do is, rather than try to guesstimate on the other side, I'm just going to copy this side and paste it in a mirrored way, and we would just overlap it. Man, my eyesight is really screwing with me tonight. Sorry about that. That's why I'm going so slow, because I'm having trouble focusing. Okay, so got that. I have half of it copied, edit, copy, edit, paste. I'm gonna have a white edit, paste as transparent selection, and Control M will make it mirrored. And I just come in here and try to match it all up. I'm doing it zoomed out, so that's why that looks to be about the same thickness. Now this is a pretty basic cross, I guess. You would, if we're trying to make it look like a typical cross, maybe cut it off there. No, that's, I don't know, but I think you get the idea. But that's as quickly as you can design a single cross. So let me get rid of these since we don't need them anymore. And, you know, with a little more effort, you know, I could have placed it differently or, you know, turned the design a different way, but.
Hey, Ron Norris says, start over, Charles.
Not happening. Okay. This will be another example, but I'm going to go ahead and go with one of the tribal ones. Or I could go.
Can you explain all that again?
Yes, ma'am. Just watch the show right after we're done. I think every one of y'all is messing with me. That you know, because heck, okay, I'm trying to find the midpoint of this, and we can break that into 4 pieces. So, I mean, it's a bad time not to have my eyesight. That's not quite the middle. So it's the same premise as the one I just did. Like if you like this design and wanted to put it around a cross, or you could just lay a cross over it. But if you want every part of that design to show up, you could just break it into 4 equal parts. And I could do that mathematically, but I'm trying not to take up too much time. So you would have this, and that would be the opposite side, blah blah blah, and repeat the same. If y'all want me to, I can create another cross doing it that way, or I can just show you how I do it with repeating a process of like with tribal stuff or whatever design you may choose. Now, and it's the same with these tribal ones. This would be, because the ones I just did, like this one, this would be the brown representing wood. On something like this where there's a bunch of gaps, the blacks would represent cutouts, except you may have to alter it in places like right there where it would be really brittle. It's totally up to you, but let me grab that one, this design here. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we can try to work with it. And it's because I was trying to look through all of my tribal designs to find something to work with. Okay, so we got that. And I'm going to turn it all black so it shows up better. And there's all kinds of notifications going on. Okay, let me zoom in just a bit. Now put it on a high tolerance, which should fill it all in, at least the parts that are all that color. That little speck is bothering me and I can't focus in on it. There we go. Okay, it's not a perfect design, but okay, let me get an idea how big it is. So we'll go with another 1,000 by whatever. File new, go. Copy. Okay, I needed to make it bigger, so let me get rid of that. Now, in most cases on a cross, the lower portion is obviously going to be longer, so you got to take that in mind when you're designing a cross. Now, I may have the sides a little too long here, but I'm going to try to compensate for that on making this cross as to how it's done or how I'm going to do it. Okay, edit, copy, edit, paste as new selection. This will be much smaller because I have a much bigger window. Gives us plenty of room to work with. Edit, copy. And what I'm going to do is rotate this one 180 degrees. That way it's kind of a mirror image facing it. And I'll just slide it on top of the other one until they're touching. You want to be as symmetrical as possible, so try to center it exactly. So I'm going to zoom in real close to assure that. You could stop here since it is where the black is cut out. So yeah, I guess we could stop here, but you could overlap that slightly if you wanted to also. So I guess that could be the mast of it, or we could do one more to make it longer. Now, I generally like to attach all of my pieces together, but the way this tribal thing is designed, it's not gonna let me do that because there's so many floaters. The black being what is cut out. Okay. That there. That there. Rotate to the right 90 degrees. Slide it on over to wherever it looks right to you. Try to be equal up and down. And I messed up by putting that one in there non-transparent. Edit, paste, transparent selection. And this time we're gonna rotate it left 90 degrees, and we'll slide this one the same way we did the other one. And as quickly as that, if you have the patience, there is another cross. I thought all of this was going to take longer, but that gives you an example of one that is all right. I think everything that can happen is going to happen. Okay, so this represents black being cut out, and this represents the dark color is the wood. So this is two methods you can use to make your own, but on the kind I did over here in black, it's just a matter of repeating a pattern and sometimes overlapping it. So I guess to fill up a little more time, I can show y'all some of the patterns I've designed, and some of them are pretty darn detailed, but I want to give y'all something to look at. So I'll just real quickly throw them in there. I won't show every single one of them because that would be overkill. Some of these are in wooden teddy bear coming up, I believe. That should be enough there. Now some of these are the exact same design, but they have a border around them. And this is a relatively fat cross. It's just so in this example, I think it looks better without that border around it, but that's an option of what you can do with any cross. You can do it with the one that I just created. But that's the exact same cross. It just has a border on it. This is another example of a tribal thing that I overlapped it. And to me, it almost looks like burlap or one of those, I believe they call them Chinese finger torture things. And this is probably an overkill version of that one. More tribal. That was just some lines thrown in trying to make it less brittle, although I'm kind of known for my brittle designs. This is an artsy one that you can see the pattern was repeated quite a few times and just spun around. And it really is, I mean, almost any cross you can design, somebody somewhere is likely to like it because there's so many varied tastes out there. But this one obviously would take patience. The black represents the wood. It's so far in all of these. And anytime in any one of my designs, if you're supposed to cut out the white, it will ordinarily say that. But when the whole design is black, that means, anyway, you know what I mean. So this is an example of somewhat of a simple one compared to the other ones, at least, that has a border around it. I also have that same version without the border around it. And this is another example of frou-frou with and without a border. And this is personally one of my favorites. I think I actually cut it out once. Took a while, as you can imagine. This is another example of just a basic cross. Now you saw my other ones that were filled in, but you can do just a thick border of a cross, and this area can be cut out as well, and it kind of gives it a new dimension. But I'm sorry that I didn't take up the whole show with this, Lee. I thought it would take longer to do this, but I hope I taught somebody something. If not, I'm terrible. And but hope maybe somebody somewhere has a question or three, and maybe we can work off of that. But I hope that helps somebody somewhere. Is anybody there? Am I on the show by myself? Because I'm not hearing anybody.
Thank you.
We're all there.
I'm looking at the outside chat, so thanks, Charles.
Okay, I need you to stop presenting me because I'm still stuck. Okay, I got the panel showing now, at least, but
All right, hold on.
I can't stop presenting myself. There we go. I hope that's what you were looking for, Lee. I honestly thought it would take longer.
I actually do have a question about copyrighted images.
Yes, sir.
Now, obviously, I mean, I don't know if the rules would be the same in the UK as they are in the US, but obviously you're only using a slight section of an image from Google. Does that still constitute as copyright if you're using just a minute corner of it?
Probably technically, but I'm not the authority on that. But sometimes these are based off of things I fiddle around with on my computer and sort of come up with. But yes, there are times I've done or purchased little ornamental looking things, designs, and just because I think even with Dover Publishing, they have different design books. I think I don't recall the amount, but I think there's a certain percentage of that design you can use to create your own. You just can't take a whole design of theirs and post it as your own. And some people have been accused of that. I don't know the stories on it, so I'm not going to go into it. But
yeah.
When in doubt, ask. But yeah, that's probably the best method is if you know who designed to go to them and ask.
Because to me, it's kind of like getting like a vine from a tree or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's only so many times you can get a picture of a vine from a tree or something like that, and then turn around and say, "Well, you can't use that. It looks too much like mine." Well,
Yeah.
it looks like a tree.
Well, regarding copyrights, one thing I heard of, I don't know if this is true or not, is it's off the topic of crosses, but if I recall correctly, the specific curve of the horns on the Texas Longhorns logo is copyrighted. I could be wrong, but I think I heard or read that somewhere. But I mean, people can copyright the weirdest things. Some people try to copyright words or sentences. Now, obviously, you have mottos out there that can be copyrighted, but I don't want to lie and give you false information. I know some places allow you a certain percentage of a design to be used, but not the whole thing.
Right,
I wish I recalled the sources I got. Some of these I purchased just a frilly design and made a cross out of that frilly design, repeated in different angles and stuff. So I think I feel safe in assuming that's pretty much legal because I'm not claiming that one single design is mine. The combination of them and all. There again, I could be wrong. I'm not the authority on it. It's always safe. But like, there's a website called Dreams Time. You have to pay for a subscription to it, but they have licensing. They call it royalty free, but they still have a copyright thing saying who took the photograph or whatever the case may be. So it's always safe if you see the contact information or the name of who actually took the photograph or made the design. It's always a safe bet to talk to them first. And he was talking about Lee was talking about Pixabay. It's spelled Pixabay. I believe all that stuff is license free. I could be wrong. You may have to research that.
Yeah. If you guys want to see it, I can screen share real quick and show it.
Alrighty, Leon.
Sure.
All right, hold on one sec. Let me screen share this. One moment.
Oh, so Chris Keat wants to take the thumb up away. I see how you are, Chris. Good to see you, Chris.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now I did it. All right. Can you see it, guys?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. All right. So this one is called Pixabay. It's Pixabay.com. And this one actually is all pretty much royalty free. It's Creative Commons licensing. So, for example, Charles was talking about tribal. I'm going to search that real quick.
Yeah, I was hoping someone would show up on there. I figured that, Chris, by the way.
So, like, that's all. All right. So, basically,
there's some good ones in there.
So basically, like right here, you guys can see it says CCO public domain where I'm highlighting it here. And yeah, Charles, do me a favor and see if the outside chat can see me okay, because sometimes I don't.
Are you all able to see him okay?
But this is the.
Yeah, I just went over there. It's going through okay.
Okay, great. This is the CCO public domain licensing right here where it says CCO public domain. It says free for commercial use. No attribution required, so that means you don't have to tell anyone, oh, this is where I got it from. So basically, this is free to use for anything. They have it in different sizes. So when you click down here for free download, it'll tell you what size that you can get it in. You can also get it in a vector graphic if you have a vector-based program. You can get it that way too. And then all you got to do for this is you actually got to sign up. And then once you sign up, like right now I'm logged in. It's free to sign up. It doesn't cost anything. Once you're logged in, this free download will come up and it'll download directly to your computer once you click it. So it's actually a really cool website. And I'll just keep looking here. It's got all sorts of fun stuff. I use this to find all sorts of different things. Like Charles, I know we were looking at the I don't know if you were here the last show that I did this, but we were looking at a
I wasn't on it, but I watched it, and that's why I mentioned it in the comments.
So, for example, if I wanted to look at like a cheetah.
Now, can you sort these things by size, or do they only come in one size option?
When you click free download right here,
Oh, okay.
it'll list all your sizes. But if you keep looking around, you'll find one that's bigger. So, like, let me do this again. Cheetah. Let me find one. There's some that are bigger, Charles, that have more pixels.
Cool.
So I'm gonna try to find one that's bigger, but that's the only thing you gotta kind of try by clicking on it and seeing. Like, see, that one's still one.
Yeah, for those of you that want to design patterns, the bigger the picture you can get, the better if you're into detail, because the bigger picture you get, the closer you can zoom in without distorting it, and that's the benefit of finding large photos.
So I'm just going through. So look at a train. Just showing people, like, there's different things on here.
There's definitely a big variety. That and Dreamstime. I know Dreamstime has a subscription fee, and you can only get a certain amount of downloads. That's the drawback.
Yeah, this one's completely free. Like, here's a lighthouse. Try this one. And then see how it says 3,000 right here, Charles?
Yep, that's huge.
Yeah, so there's some of these that are 3, there's some that are 5, there's some that are 6.
See, I've seen sites similar to this where somewhere in fine print there was still some kind of limitation. So it's all, when in doubt, ask. But if it shows anything about a copyright, I think Lee is accurate in saying that if it's saying public domain, I think you're safe. But if you have any doubts and don't want to get burned, ask.
Yeah, and the other thing is over on this side, if you look under where it says free download, then it says like Pixabay. Right down here it says sponsored images. Don't click on these because these are all Shutterstock, not Pixabay. And if you click on them and use one of these images, you'll get in trouble because it's not Creative Commons. Yeah. So only use the ones from Pixabay. Don't use the ones right here under sponsored images. The ones that are directly down here underneath where it says related images down here. These are all Pixabay. So basically don't use any of these. Well, no, it's not cooperating. Don't use any of the ones on the right. Make sure you use them directly below.
I think the ones that are sponsored are kind of a platform because of the purpose of the site. It allows them to advertise for.
So you guys can see, I'm just scrolling through here. There's all sorts of fun stuff. Like they've got anything you want to look at. So
yes, let me see. Somebody in the outside chat throw up a picture theme you would like to see, and we'll see if it's on there. I didn't think tribal would be on there, but it was. But if there's it has to be family friendly. Don't say naked lady or anything.
What are they trying to find?
Nobody is trying to find anything. I'm trying to get some activity out there. Buckingham Palace, says Jamie, which is right here on the panel. He could have just said it, but okay. Yeah, if you want to put in Buckingham Palace, we can see if they got that. Oh. I bet they do. If they had tribal,
I'm sure they've got Buckingham on here. Let's see one. Oh, let's try Big Ben once.
And then Ron Norris says Denny Chimes.
There you go. There's Big Ben for you.
There's big old Ben. And it's amazing that these are all free. There's got to be a catch somewhere. That just seems too good to be true.
Yeah, these are just all Creative Commons. So
I know I'm not calling you a liar. I'm used to being burned. So
that's this one here, Charles, is 4,000 pixels, so you can zoom in and you can really
I'm telling you, man, that would be beautiful.
Here,
I need to start using that as my main go-to source.
And make a good stencil as well, Charles.
Oh, absolutely.
Lee, over there where it says under that copyright commercial thing, learn more. What does it have on there?
That just tells you about it, the limitations and whatnot. So basically, it says images on videos on Pixabay are released under Creative Commons to the extent possible under law. Uploaders of Pixabay have waived their copyright and related or neighboring rights to these images and videos. You are free to adapt them and use them for commercial purposes without attributing the original author or source Although not required, a link back to Pixabay is appreciated.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up, Lee. Because, and I'm sorry to interrupt. It's definitely a polite thing in the community of using other images, even if you have permission. It is a good practice to refer back to where you got the source photo or whatever the case may be, because it makes you look good. It's just good ethics, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. And Chris Cute is wanting to look up Ashford Castle. That's Ashford Castle.
What is it?
Ashford Castle. Ashford.
Ashford
Castle. Oh, dang nabbit. Chris, you picked the one thing they don't have a picture of. Dag blabbit.
You could try Dover. You could try Dover Castle.
Over.
And that was the one time Chris was serious too, and he didn't get his wish. I'm so sorry, Chris.
There you go.
Here's Dover,
where Henry VIII lived. That's near me.
and that one's 4,000 pixels. So.
That's awesome. That's definitely going to be a source. I give up, says Chris.
But you guys can check this out at your leisure. But if you guys want to check it out, it's got all sorts of fun stuff on it. So make sure you give it a look.
Absolutely. I for one am very glad you pointed out that site on the last show, because I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that.
So on the topic of crosses, I wanted to show you guys. This is our Support Our Troops issue for Scroller's Choice, and this is out of stock. But if you guys want to order it, you can still order it as a PDF. Just right now, we don't have a print until we get a lot of orders. We've got to order so many at a time, so we don't have them right now. But you guys can see these are two crosses that I designed. One is the Vietnam cross, and the other one is the World War II cross.
I think you did great on both of those. I've never tried to do a pictorial cross like that. I love that.
And then on the next page is the Korean cross. So you guys can take a look.
Very, very good.
And then for this Vietnam one, this one here, I'll show you guys what that looks like finished. So let me screen share again.
And that's one thing I think we'll all agree that do cross-related stuff. Almost, unless you live in an atheist town, crosses sell well in almost any place. Somebody somewhere collects crosses.
Can you guys see my screen?
Right now we see infinity until you get there. There it is. Yes, that turned out wonderful.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I gotta commend you on those. Those are nice.
Now this was submitted to me by one of the people that read the magazine, and he cut it out, so he sent it back to us. But I just wanted to show you guys, since we're on the topic of designing custom crosses. So you guys can see that that's basically clip art, and I used it to create something different. So now he did a really good job with this, because he added the 70 and the 71 on the bottom, which I didn't think about, because he added the base with the 70 and the 71, which is cool, because I never would have thought to add that. So something that he added after effect. Turned out pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, another good designer of, and once again, great work. Another good designer of pictorial type crosses is Sue May. I think that's what she's actually not. Well, she has so many diverse patterns. I believe she's girlstarartist.com. If anybody's interested, I don't know if Sheila Landry and Keith Benton have any crosses or not. I'm quite sure they might, because they're pretty diverse as well. But I think
sure that does. Yeah, they've got crosses, Charles.
Yeah, Sue May has a huge variety of those pictorial style crosses.
Yeah, she has a lot of pictorial crosses, and she's got a lot of them are like occupation crosses and stuff like that. So There's like
Yeah.
police ones and fire ones. And there's teacher ones. But if you guys want to check this out, this is one that I designed today. And I was going to cut it on air, but unfortunately my camera wasn't cooperating. So I have to get a better camera before I can cut stuff on air. But I'm going to post this up in all the groups. If you guys want to check it out, it's going to be free on all the Scroll Saw groups on Facebook. So if you're a member of any of those, you'll see it posted up there shortly later on tonight. But you guys can see it says God Bless America. It's just a simple one for July 4th. So I'll post that up for everybody later on tonight.
And as with any scroll, thank you, Lee. I'm thanking you like I'm the host of the show. Sorry, it's a habit. I'm so sorry. As with any
My show.
yeah,
Mine.
as with any scroll saw pattern you get, if you think something looks too thin, too boring, too simple, too intricate, you can change it. There's no law saying you have to cut something the way you see it. If something looks too brittle, widen it. Things like that. People, and I was guilty of this too. You feel like a failure if you can't stay on the line, but confidence level builds as you do it more often. When it comes to scroll sawing, I can't speak for other tools. Well, I actually see Chris's point here, and it's a valid opinion. He said it's nice work. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with combining warfare and a cross, but it's nice work. I can see how some people would see it that way, but in my own personal opinion, I think it's kind of a tribute to the people who died in those battles. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion, but I can see a valid point for Chris as well. But
Yeah.
I didn't get that impression when I saw him. I saw it as a tribute, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I design a warfare cross, I always think, kind of weird to combine war and religion. They don't go hand in hand. But mostly when I started designing them as funeral crosses for like I'd make one that would say Army or Navy and then have the person's name. But then I'd make it, and then the person that cut it would cut it out, go outside. So then I put it next to the actual gravestone. That's how I started making, and then I changed them up a little bit as more of the pictorial crosses. But they've always kind of been like a tribute thing, for everybody.
Yeah, Chris Cute says it goes a little deeper than that, but okay, and I respect what you're saying, Chris. I'm not saying your opinion is wrong at all because I can't tell people how to perceive things. But yeah, different folks will perceive things different way, and can't fault anybody for that. So I'm trying to completely understand what Chris is saying, but I don't want him to have to pour out more than he wants to pour out. But I could see his viewpoint as well as the one I had. So I mean, I don't know, Jamie, do you have an opinion on the matter, or just designs in general? I mean, I don't want to put you in the middle of a debate or anything.
I mean, truthfully, crosses over in the UK, it's kind of really one of them things that it's one of them patterns that you don't really see much. Truth be told, the only time you really come across a cross really is in a church.
Yeah.
That you don't really see them as like, for example, like you were saying that you do them for the remembrance and things like that of soldiers and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, we have like the poppy or something like that, for example.
Yeah.
We don't really associate a cross with that.
A tribute.
We only really associate the cross with Christ, if you like.
Understood.
Yeah,
y'all's thing is the pot. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Jamie. But in Great Britain, the people don't fly the Great Britain flag as much as we fly the American flag. They don't use symbolism as much as we do.
I think.
no,
Am I correct?
no. I don't know if it's a case of. I know we're probably a lot older, so we've forgotten a lot of stuff. I don't know what it is, to be honest. It kind of seems I mean, I may be wrong. It kind of seems to me that, and I don't want to word this wrong. It seems that Americans are a lot more
Symbolic.
religious. Is probably the better way of putting it. You
That's a
know
safe.
that
That makes sense.
they have the hand closer to the heart. You know, is probably a better way of putting it. Because I mean, everywhere you look on scroll source pattern sites, and I've said this to Charles before, everywhere I look when I come across scroll source patterns, I see crosses everywhere.
And I didn't realize that was a primarily an American thing. I'm glad I learned something tonight because I have heard about the poppy thing. That's
Yeah.
more if we're talking symbolism. I think the poppy is the symbol of a lot of things when it comes to remembrance and tribute, isn't it?
In actual fact, I actually wear something on my wrist for remembrance. It's actually, I don't know where you can see it. It's the poppy appeal.
All right.
Which
Now
is
I wonder how many other countries are that unique in the sense that crosses aren't their thing. And I don't mean that in an atheistic way.
I wouldn't say that crosses aren't our thing, because obviously we do use them just like every other country. I just don't think we use them as much, or maybe they're just not as visible to me.
That's quite possible. And I think when I said Ernst Joel's thing, I didn't. That was probably terrible wording. But like you said, the USA seems to hold it closer. So I'm wondering how many other countries are that way besides the ones that have different religions.
And I mean, I'll give you a prime example. On my recent trip to Atlanta, when I was driving around with Chad from Mancrafting and Mark Saunders, it seemed to me that on every street corner where in the UK you'd find a corner shop where you'd go and buy your toiletries and your food from that or whatever, you'd find a church. Like no matter how big or how small, you just don't have that in the UK. You know, you have one big church for a whole town, and you won't see another one for another 15 minutes down the road. Now, 15 minutes in the UK is probably an hour in the States.
Yeah.
Now, you think how many little churches there are in an hour radius in each direction of America.
Yeah,
I bet there's a few hundred.
We could definitely make a whole. Here again, it's not my show, but we could probably make a whole show about the religion in general, the different ways they show it. But the main point that caught my attention that I had never thought of, or did not realize, was the popularity, for lack of a better word, of crosses in the U.S. versus the UK, at least being out there and collected, that kind of thing. I'm sorry to take over.
I'm not saying that it's good or bad or any of those things. I'm not defending or condemning anyone. I'm saying that there's a difference. We wear our religion on our sleeve, so to speak. Where Great Britain and I think most of Europe does not.
Sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
She said, and I speak gurgle, so I'm kidding, Katie. She said we tend to wear our religion on our sleeve, so to speak.
Yeah, very much so. Or that's kind of the perception I got of it as well. A lot of the time, but yeah, I think it's kind of the only time we really show the cross a lot of the time is in church. I can't really think of a situation outside of church as where we would use the cross.
Not to sound facetious, but what about graveyards?
Oh, of course, but
okay, I didn't want to assume.
Yeah, of course, but the only time you really see a graveyard is at church or at a crematorium.
Okay, I'm sorry, Lee. I didn't mean to take over. I get in the topic and I just run with it. But Lee, you're welcome to jump in and tell me to shut the heck up.
Yeah.
Charles is a bully.
I'm a
But yeah.
wanted to
So
show
yeah,
I wanted to show you one more cross.
Yeah, go for it.
That's actually, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to put it right there. Right there on the cover. That's a Shamrock cross. And that one was actually cut and designed by John Cossins.
cousin. Okay.
Actually in the spring 2017 edition, so the first issue for this year. That's actually, this one you can still get in print and PDF. So head over to our website, which is right here. It's Scroller's Choice mag.wixsite.com/home.
Alrighty then. Lee, I really am sorry that I keep taking over. It's a force of habit when I try to keep a topic. I got nothing. It's just a habit. I think Lee may have locked up on us because we got his profile picture.
Well, now you're gonna have to be the host.
God, that's when things are going south.
Rick, every time I show the magazine, it locks up on me. I don't know why.
that could be a bad sign. I'm just saying.
Strange, very strange.
Well, I apologize if I changed the topic of the show too far to one side. It intrigued me when he mentioned that because I had never thought of it.
Nope, it's all good.
Alrighty then.
It's 9:24. You guys got anything else?
No, and the chat section's pretty much stagnant at the time.
Rick, you got anything before we call it a night?
No, nothing really to add.
Nothing really to add? Okay.
Katie, you want to gurgle something out?
Anything? GP?
No, not that I can think of. Charles will only argue with me anyway.
All right.
I really thought what I was doing for the show was going to take longer, so I apologize for so much. I don't really need to apologize for that. I just thought it would take longer, but I think it was an interesting show. I learned some stuff.
I thought you did good.
Thank you,
Actually,
ma'am.
I want to thank Charles for supplying me with the stencil for this.
Lee, would you mind putting the camera on him? It's for a shameless plug, but
Hang on. Let me present him. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Charles helped me out with the picture for this, and it was actually the second time I've actually used spiral blades.
Are you in love with him yet?
What, with Nick?
No, the spiral blades.
Oh no, God no.
God no.
Admittedly, I'm actually starting to use them a bit more now.
That's good.
To try and use them a bit more. So I'm going to go to your website and go through your free pictures, free plans, and go through them one by one.
10-4. I got a handful of them there.
Yeah.
So I got a for us, since we're talking about crosses, one thing I forgot to bring up real quick. We've got 5 minutes, so everybody go down the line and starting with Rick. What is your least favorite materials to use cut out crosses?
My least favorite material? I don't really have a least favorite, I guess. I use a little bit of anything and everything that I've got.
All right. I know you mentioned black walnut or walnut and cherry.
Okay, walnut and cherry are two of my woods that I like to cut. Walnut is probably number one. Cherry is nice to cut as long as you put the packing tape on it to keep it from burning. And it turns out nice, just varnishing. So, yeah, walnut and cherry are two nice woods to work with.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. All right, Charles.
Question right.
Quick question. Is that what you said? You didn't.
Well, yeah, I was responding to some real quickly, if you don't mind, because I don't want to lose track. We had two people. Mark Schaefer says, "Thanks for the info. Great show, folks." From Jim Brown. Ron Norris is talking to me. David Jones says, "Evening all." Jeff Robinson, we need to see if we can get Katie's audio fixed before next week because I would like to hear her. And Ron Norris is asking about the new spiral blades. Now, what was the question? What, the least favorite and the most favorite material?
Yeah, your least favorite and your most favorite wood to cut for crosses.
My least.
Or,
Well, I really stick to wood until soon. I'll be trying another material, but it won't be for crosses. The only thing I really don't like is crappy quality ply. It's the stuff that splinters all the heck. But I don't really have a favorite wood. My favorite looking wood is aromatic cedar, but it's also extremely brittle. But yeah, I don't really have a least favorite unless it's low quality ply that splinters all the heck, like Luan or whatever. And
right.
Ron Norris is asking what's different about. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
You were good. Oh, go ahead, Charles. I thought you were done, but go ahead.
No, I was done. I was going to read a comment out of the chat section. I just didn't. I didn't know you hadn't gone through everybody.
What did the chat have to say?
He was asking about the new spiral blades. Wanted to know what's different about them, and I've only used one, and it's been a while, so I don't have a good answer.
Maybe JP.
Me, again, it comes back to there's not really a high demand for crosses in the UK. I've never actually done a cross on a scroll saw, but my favourite and least favourite material to work with is plywood. It's exactly the same answer for both. To be honest, I hate it and I love it. I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with plywood at the moment, especially with spiral blades.
Yeah, Ron Norris is saying he's referring to the difference between the old and the new spiral blades. And like I said, Ron, I've only used the new one once, and I had a single blade, and I was so into the project I didn't really pay attention. So I guess maybe I didn't really notice enough of a difference that it stood out that long. So I don't have a proper answer for you, and I might be the only spiral blade user here that's at least full time. But I'll shut up so somebody else on the panel can talk. All right,
Katie, do you have favorite wood?
I'm in agreement with it. I don't like plywood, although I use it because that's what I have a lot of times. But I'm getting ready to try to cut just a little bit of. I'm going to try some plexiglass and the other acrylic. Let's see how that goes.
Cool. By the way,
really good now.
Yeah, I was going to say your audio was perfect that time. No gurgling whatsoever. So whatever you did, if it was a certain position you were in, stay in that position for the whole. Stay in that position for the whole show, and it'll probably work. Don't move.
Don't move. All right. Well, it's 9:31, so we're going to call it a night.
Just told a woman with a weak bladder to not move.
Well, just don't tell us what's happening if you do move. Okay, Mark Sherman, not the Mark Sherman we all know, but says Charles is a backstabbing, two-faced liar. Thank you, Mark Sherman. That's spelled MarcShermain. So that was sweet. I only read the comment because I'm into reading comments and didn't realize what it said until I was reading it, but things happen. Jeff Robbins says...
You told me you hated me, so you are.
I don't even know who this Mark... No, it's Mark Shermain. It's not the usual Mark Sherman that joins these chats. But Jeff Robinson says, Katie sounds great. And Dan Ingebretson of Dan Inge Woodworking says, I scroll a lot of hardwood flooring, almost no tear out, but dulls blades quick. And Mark Shermain says, well, it's true. Well, talk to me if you got a problem with me, Mark. Otherwise, keep it off the show. Doesn't matter. I know about my character, and that's all that matters. But anyway, let's keep it on the topic. Hardwood does dull the heck out of blades because when I was doing flooring, trying to get around certain ornamental areas that came to the floor, I used a scroll saw to get along with one of those contour gauges, and it works. It will dull the heck out of a blade. Any kind of blade you use on flooring it dulls the living crap out of it.
Well, what about MDF? I've heard that is a bit tough on the old blades.
It can be. It's surprisingly dull.
Well, Charles, you won't have to worry about him much more because I just removed him.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. I'm curious as to who it is, but that's where it ends. I mean, because anybody that knows me knows I'm not a two-faced, backstabbing liar.
He's got a problem. We can discuss it outside of the show. So.
Yeah.
No, you doesn't
need to bring it on. But I don't know what his problem is.
To my face.
Yeah, I'll talk smack to your face. By God, you listen to Katie. I'm a bad mamma jamma.
I've known you for a long time, Charles. So we go back. So I know what you're like. So
whether or not that's good or bad, we won't get into.
Not on air anyway. All right, you guys. We're gonna wrap it up. 9:33. So let's call it a night. I want to thank everyone that was been out in the chat page. Rick Hutchinson, Katie Dotson, Jamie, and Charles Daring.
Sorry.
Have a happy 4th of July tomorrow, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.